Thank you. Good morning, and thank you very much for the invitation. And it's a pleasure to be also for the first time here in Yerevan. And I want to take the opportunity also to thank the Armenian government because the Vice President of the United Nations Human Rights Council is a distinguished friend and fine diplomat, the permanent representative of Armenia in Geneva. He has been my vice president this very difficult year of the Human Rights Council. So let me share some thoughts. First of all, the Human Rights Council has three roles that are very linked to the theme of this forum. On one side, we analyze the human rights situation of every single country in the world. 193 member states of the UN have to put their human rights situation on the table and receive recommendations, suggestions, criticism. And that is also an important tool. We are starting the fourth cycle of this universal periodic review. And in those four reviews, the average number of recommendations that each country receives are 200. And regardless of the level of development, region, culture. And that means that in those recommendations that are given by other states, many things are related to precisely genocide prevention. The second role is we address serious human rights situations. We cannot look at human rights country situation only every 4 years. We need to address serious cases, and that is the case. We have over 13 mechanisms for the investigation of serious violations of human rights in different countries. This year, of course, a very challenging year, one of the most challenging in the history of the Council, with world-shaping events like climate change and the effects of the pandemic and a war in the heart of Europe with global impacts. We had an urgent debate, of course, on Ukraine. We approved a commission of inquiry to investigate violations, alleged violations stemming from the Russian aggression to Ukraine. We established a mechanism on Nicaragua, and most recently we just established a mechanism on Iran. And I'm about to appoint the experts for that mechanism. So that too, and we have here a distinguished member of one of the mechanisms of the UN Human Rights Council on Myanmar. The third is the progressive development of human rights norms and standards. The Human Rights Council is the place where future generations, where we develop the norms and standards for present and future generations to have their rights better protected. And what we are doing is just the tip of the iceberg. We have to think always in historical perspective what we do. The revolutionary idea of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that each person has rights beyond being a national, of a state or religion, and that the international community collectively has to protect that, is a revolutionary idea, but it's only 74 years old. That means that this is the tip of the iceberg of what we are going to do. And if you look at the agenda of the Human Rights Council, only in the last session in September, we approved a resolution on cyberbullying. We approved a resolution on disinformation. We approved a resolution for the first time on the impact on human rights of new military technologies, like legal autonomous weapons. Because following our distinguished first speaker on scholars, you know, when you compare about the train and other technologies that came and unfortunately were used also to take people to Birkenau, is technology and human rights is like nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is an absolutely amazing development of technology for the peaceful use on medicine or energy, but also you can build a nuclear weapon. And that is what is happening with technology and human rights. The problem is who is going to navigate the gray line between technology and human rights. Are we going to leave a private millionaire businessman to decide what is wrong and what is not wrong on social media? Let's just look in historical perspective. You know, there was a famous journalist that has been sentenced by the International Tribunal in Rwanda in the radio of Thousand Hills in Kigali, a Belgian journalist, that called on the radio to kill Tutsis because they were cockroaches, and he was sentenced for inciting genocide. But what if that person today had a Twitter account? That not only the people in Kigali by the radio listen to him, but millions of people listen to him. Are we going to leave the owner of a private business to decide to cancel his account or not? So my message is we need to strengthen what we do in the Human Rights Council. The good thing is that we don't always have easy discussions. This year has been the most challenging. I don't need to tell you, we had many, many difficult situations. But you know what? The good message is that 70% of our resolutions have been approved by consensus. 30% went to a vote, like Ukraine, or the adoption of a special rapporteur on the Russian Federation, or Nicaragua, on addressing or not the report of the High Commissioner on Xinjiang. All those complicated issues went to a vote. And that is fine. It's part of multilateral diplomacy. But you know what? The resolution presented by Armenia, so important, on the prevention of genocide, was by consensus. The resolution on disinformation was by consensus. The one on cyberbullying presented by Argentina and Germany was by consensus. And the one on the impact of new military technology also was by consensus. That what gives us is the hope that that progressive development of new human rights standards is still safe, and my time is over, it still is safe to continue progressing the development, and I hope that we can manage to strengthen the Council in these discussions to find the gray line between technology and genocide prevention. Genocide doesn't happen overnight, like others said. If you follow 8 or 10 stages, according to Stanton or whoever you follow of the scholars, in any of those stages, you can have the good use of technology or the bad use of technology. And last, we are very happy that the Council was able to learn from the pandemic, and we introduced remote participation of victims directly before the Council. That was a tool that we had to develop during the pandemic. There was no other way because we didn't have in-person meetings. But now we realize how important it is to continue with that practice, because we are able to get direct testimonies from victims all over the world addressing before the Council. And that is an amazing tool for prevention of genocide also, because it's not an NGO based in Geneva or the one that can pay the flight from London to go to Geneva. Now we have NGOs from all over the world and direct victims. We had women from Afghanistan, and we have women from Iran in the last session, directly from Tehran or Kabul. So that's another good use of technology. Thank you very much.